Hi friends, it's Terry Stewart. Welcome to my Stamping is Fun channel. Today I have a very fun Christmas gift card holder for you. This project will use garden green cardstock or layering ovals framelits, some DSP from Tis the Season, some brushed metallic cardstock, a little bit of white cardstock. We'll be embossing with our Evergreen Forest 3D embossing folder, Mary Moose stamp set, garden green ink, real red ink. We'll also be using a 1¼ inch punch, plus some other items as we go along. So let's get started. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer and a full sheet of garden green cardstock, and I'm going to cut this at 5½. This piece is then scored at 4¼ and then I'm going to rotate it counterclockwise and score it at 3 inches to the score line I just made. And just to that center score line. Now I'm going to cut from the center score line down to the 3-inch mark that the 3-inch score line. I'm going to turn the cardstock over and remove a 1/2 inch on the same side that the score line is, just from the top. So I'm going to cut down to the line I just remove this 1/2 inch. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to place that cut line at the 1¾ inch mark. I'm going to cut down to the score line, or rotate, and I'm going to put that score line on the cutting line and cut between the two cut lines. So from the center down to the second, and remove that piece. I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to cut a notch using my 1¼ inch punch. I'm going to stick it about halfway in and center it. So you can see with the circle removed, half circle, and then this will fold down to be our gift card enclosure. And now we'll do some die cutting using our layering ovals die cuts. We'll make a scallop oval out of the garden green cardstock and a die cut out of the brushed metallic gold cardstock. And our die cuts are done. Now I'm going to emboss our oval metallic gold cardstock using the 3D Evergreen Forest embossing folder. I'm going to place this oval on this tree on the left-hand side as it's more 3D, and then I'm going to just center it between the trees in the background. And I'll run this through my die cutting and embossing machine. And then there it is, and embossed. I'll layer the metallic cardstock on the garden green cardstock. Now it's time for some stamping using our Mary Moose stamp set. Using the red ink, I'm going to stamp on the smaller piece of white cardstock. Please visit my blog at stampinghairblogspot.com for all the measurements and cutting instructions. I'm stamping on the right-hand side of this piece since I intend to do a punch on the left-hand side. Another sentiment from the Mary Moose stamp set, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And I'll stamp this in the center of my white cardstock. my garden green ink, I'm going to add a pine tree, also from the Mary Moose stamp set. And I'm going to stamp once, and then without re-inking, I'm going to stamp another tree and put one on the third. To decorate the envelope, I'm using shaded spruce in the same Christmas tree image, stamping once, twice, and 3 times. So to assemble, I'm going to burnish all the score lines on our card base. Using liquid glue, I'm going to put a thin line just on the edges of the gift card holder, so there's plenty of room for the gift card to slide it in and out of the pocket. I'll set that aside and let that dry. Now it's time to adhere our inside piece. With my adhesive, I'll place this right behind the holder. The larger piece will adhere to this card base. Put some adhesive on, then center this. And the smaller piece of DSP adheres to the front. This DSP is from the 'Tis the Season DSP pack. Now we can adhere our metallic cardstock to our oval die cut. With my lovely labels Pick-a-Punch, now I will punch the left-hand side of our greeting. I'll slide it in. It's a 1/2 inch, so it goes into the bottom groove. Slide it all the way in, and then make sure that it lines up flush against the right-hand edge of the punch. I'm going to adhere our metallic layers, and I'm going to want to center that right and left, and I don't want the adhesive above the pocket. We'll just put adhesive on the lower third and turn this over, and now I'm going to use some satin, double stitch satin ribbon with this piece, and I'll let it hang over so I can trim the edges as needed. Using my tear and tape, I will adhere it to the card front. Burnishing the cover helps with removal. With the assistance of my Pick-a tool, I'll remove the cover. And then place this in the bottom of the card front. And then trim the end. I'll use some glue dots to adhere this front sentiment. On the back side of the sentiment, I'll place several glue dots with the help of my Pick-a tool, placing it the right edge with the right edge of the card base. And the final touch will be some wonderful gems to add some sparkle. I'm going to use some of these red gems and some gold gems, gold sparkle gems. And once our card is complete, we can add the gift card. Then you have your gift card holder, a completed gift card holder ready to be presented to a lucky recipient. If you like this tutorial, please subscribe to my channel and I'll bring you even more fun stamping projects. Thanks so much for joining me. Until the next stamping project, bye.